Hi there. I know I said in my intro video that I wasn't going to cover things like politics, but I've had a bit of a change of heart, not necessarily politics that I really want to cover. I have to tell you again that I'm Canadian, so it doesn't mean that I want to cover American politics, although at times this may come in. And recently we've had quite a few things coming at us from the States, from the Trump administration to Canada. So I guess that's going to, of course, come into things, but it's more current events that I wanted to cover. I don't feel like we have a lot of representation on YouTube with Canadian readers, seers, mystics, tarot readers, astrologers, tea leaf readers, etc. I know there are a few, and there are many, many in the States, but I thought I would add my voice and feel like it's basically I've been called to it. So I wanted to show you first why I've been called to it, and then I'll just go on with a reading for today. So I've recently connected with this brand new deck, well, brand new for me. It's called The Beloved Dead by Carrie Paris and Tina Hart. It's an oracle for divining ancestral wisdom, and I've spent quite a bit of time getting to know this deck and getting it to feel like it is a part of me and could be a part of my work as a medium. And it's also really good for divination. I typically will use, with my tea leaf reading, I've got my tea leaf reading little kit here, but I typically will use the Lenormand oracle cards as well as tea leaf readings. So I'm going to continue to use those because they are wonderful. But I wanted to show you this the Beloved Dead deck, and the cards that I wanted to show you that I really cemented the decision for me to go ahead with doing this, with adding this current events portion to my YouTube videos, which will also allow me to consistently post, and quite often. I'm actually hoping, maybe even starting next week, to try and post daily, if not daily, as many times as I can throughout the week, at least during the weekdays. I think I'll take the weekends off. But actually I say off, but I do read tea leaves on Saturdays usually, so really there's not much time off, that's for sure. Basically these are 3 cards that I pulled for myself. I don't often do readings for myself, but this was getting to know the deck. And look at the first card that came here was Witch, and that's really a call to appreciate the magic from within and actually what I do. I sometimes kind of forget that what I do is quite magical. It just seems so natural for me to read tea leaves, and sometimes it hits me. Wow, I'm reading and speaking with spirit and doing divination for people, and I really have to sit back and just appreciate what I can do with the work that I do. The next card speaks to that as well, and this is what really cemented the idea, was this service card. You'll see that she's got this loyal dog with her, and I love the angel wings around her. I'm not really much of an angel person myself, but I read for a lot of people who are connected to angels in a very meaningful way. And that brings me to service. I've never thought of myself as providing or being of service to people. I know that I'm providing a service, but it's different to be of service to someone. And, that's hitting me more and more, especially as we are going through difficult times. This Arcana card that just popped up, and basically this is like the keeper of secrets. This Arcana woman is very powerful, and if you maybe relate that to the major arcana, in tarot, those are the important cards. That's the powerful, the most important. The current events that we're going through right now are very important and pivotal. That's what I find that this is. It's just a need to sort of unlock the secrets and provide pivotal information and helpful information. So that's why I wanted to show you what interesting cards that I connected with here. I also connected with mediumship and all with a relative of mine, and I'll be showing you my mediumship readings as well, not just current events. So I'm just going to pack this up and I will shuffle my other deck and get us started with a reading. For the last 2 nights, we've had Liberal leadership debates, and I watched it last night in English. And I'm going to do a reading about how that went and the takeaways from that. I know this might sound bad, but I'm only going to be reading on Chrystia Freeland and Mark Carney. Not that I think that Karina Gold and Frank Bayless didn't do a good job. In fact, I felt like Karina actually won the debate. That's my opinion, my humble opinion. But I intuitively, I know that it's between Mark Carney and Chrystia Freeland. And not just intuitively, that's out there in the polls, that's out there. Mark Carney is far surpassing everyone with donations. So the thought is that he's going to win, and I just wanted to do a reading on that just to see what we find out from that. So I've laid out my cards. I've just turned the cup and turned it down. I'm just going to take a look at Chrystia Freeland right here and Mark Carney right here. So let's take a look at Mark Carney first. If I look around him, and this is called a grand tableau, if I look around him, you'll notice in this little portrait that the outcome, I'm skipping right to the outcome right now, is his debate performance was a little bit wasn't that great. It didn't leave people feeling like they got enough information. You'll see the clouds here. It feels like more information has to come from him, and you'll see that underneath him is the sunshine. So to me, that looks like he will be moving forward with that. And if I look above him, you'll see here's this beautiful garden. There's a new path for him into this beautiful garden and into the house. In Canada here, we don't have a White House that they move into. Actually did, and we do. It's 24 Sussex, which isn't too far from where I live, but that's another story. They've been trying to decide whether to renovate, put the money into it or not, and they just haven't, and it's kind of a total mess. So our current Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, moved into a cottage on the Governor General's land, and so I don't know where our next Liberal leader would move to, but perhaps to that cottage. But this represents this home that Mark Carney could potentially move into. He's going for it. You'll see this as the stars card here. It's kind of like shoot for the stars, meeting all his hopes and dreams. He's still holding some things back, so he's just getting his feet wet, if you will. These debates, I think, first in French was very hard for him, and apparently he was the weakest in the French language, but he held his own, and that's what he was there to do, hold his own and hopefully come out as a leader. But it didn't seem like he did as far as the CBC coverage that I saw afterwards. But he's going to be shooting for the stars. He needs to be a little bit more clever with how he's portraying himself. The stars card is on the fox, and that can be a cleverness, hard work. He's got some work ahead of him. It can also be sly, but I don't intuitively get that feeling that he's a sly or that sly fox. I don't really get that impression. It's funny, I was thinking, no, maybe he's that silver fox. You know how people around the world thought Trudeau was handsome. I know a lot of you might be feeling sick at me saying that right now, but I know that he is known as a handsome guy, and lots of jokes about that throughout the years. But when I saw him, Mark Carney, I thought he's kind of like a dad figure. It's funny that I got this feeling that people are actually going to think of him as handsome, even though he's older. He does give off some Cary Grant vibes. That's the name I got, and so I feel like people will trust him. Appearance is unfortunately in some ways thought of as important, especially in leaders. And I know that a lot of people are looking for that. He just came across as maybe more dynamic than Frank Baylis intuitively. That's how I felt. I do read people. So I could see that he did come across better than perhaps Frank Baylis in the male category, if you will. So he's got more to come out. He needs to sort of open that book up, open himself up, and come across as more of a people's person, if you will. He's got to lighten up a little bit and show some of his human side, not just the banker side and the economic side. So that's looking good for him, even though there is some cloudiness. There's a lot of talk around him too, so a lot of nervousness. So I know that they were, at least his team was a little bit worried and anxious about that debate, or the last two debates. But I feel like they are trying to move forward. They're just going to sort of shut the lid on that and move forward. That's the way to go. His team is very loyal to him, and they're intuitively trying to move forward and make him seem more personable. One other thing I want to mention about Mark Carney is that I feel like when he wins the Liberal leadership, because I feel like he is going to, that's when all the new cards are going to be laid out on the table, if you will. That's where he's going to come into his power and open up this book. This is on the bear house right here. He's going to become more powerful, and he's going to show his leadership qualities more so when he is debating Pierre Poilievre, the Conservative, and for the NDP as well. But that's where he's going to shine. That's the key to him, is that, and that's, yeah, you'll see this is in the stars house. His stars are going to be shining. That's the key for him, is in the future. So this looks like within the next few months, then we're going to see him shining. So I started off with Mark Carney, and so I'm already telling you who I think is going to win, and that's him. And so I just wanted to cover Chrystia Freeland. And the reason why is because she was thought to be the next person to take over after Trudeau. So here she is, up above here. There's not even anything above here. She came out in this first row here, and she is actually on the ship house, meaning that her ship has sailed. So that's how I'm taking that. And she's going to be on to a new path. And she's in the house here. So I feel like she is going to stay in the Liberal Party. That's what I'm thinking right now. And there might be some interesting opportunities for her. That's within this book. So you'll see, I think Mark Carney's got some ideas, or will soon, and she seems pretty anchored. So I feel like she is going to stay within the Liberal Party. She's not going to be leaving. Perhaps she may feel like she has another opportunity in the future for Prime Minister. You'll see there's this tree of growth here. She's done a lot. She's had a lot of different positions, and I still feel like there's some growth that she could do. So she's, had a lot of mountains to climb here. And although she's had luck in the past, I don't feel like this is her time to win. This, the mountains is on the clover, so it feels like her luck has turned, and now she's, feeling like she's blocked by this mountain. It just wasn't her time, and the way she's so related to Trudeau, even though she left Trudeau at the end, she's still too intertwined with the work that they did together, and that's what people want to basically get rid of. They want something new. So that's where she's going to be at a crossroads too. But I do believe that she will be staying within the Liberal Party and possibly doing some really interesting work. So she'll probably be in talks with Mark Carney right afterwards, and they'll maybe work on a plan to get her moving forward with him. Possibly international travel again. I think she did that before, but she'll be doing something new with international work, perhaps with the United States, but perhaps around the world. She's really good actually at dealing with people around the world. She's got lots of experience, and I see her moving forward with that. She's very loyal. This is her moving forward as the rider on the loyal dog card. So that's kind of tight-lipped right now. Sometimes this can represent endings, but it is her moving on to something new, endings and beginnings. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is just pack my cards up, and I'm going to take a look at the tea leaves. I just took a minute to take a picture of all the tea leaves because they do tend to dry out and drop. So I wanted to make sure I got a good pictures of them before I started the reading. Right at the handle is the present time, and there's the letter M, so standing for Mark. He does have some rocks to continue to push up the hill, so it's an uphill battle, but I feel like it's not going to be too long for him before he already knows that he's winning, and you'll see when I get to the end of the cup, I see him winning, and I'll show you why. Here is the rider symbol. It's a horse, and it's galloping towards Mark Carney. There's someone chasing him, and I would assume that would be Chrystia Freeland. Could even be Karina Gold, because she did do well at the debate, but I feel like she might be working with him too. I didn't mention that because in my Grand Tableau reading, but Karina Gold will be working with him too. And then the third person down in the that's sort of chasing him is Frank Bayless. So I feel like they all want to work with Mark Carney, and I don't doubt that will happen. There's a cardinal here. I definitely see a cardinal following all of them. I don't know if that's just a good luck sign for him. Dragonflies, those are typically two mediumship symbols, but I don't want to do a mediumship reading right now. It seems like he's juggling a few different things. He's got a lot of work to do. Particularly on healthcare. I'm seeing my spine here and hips. So that's interesting, spine and hips. But I feel like it's a healthcare related topic that he's really going to be working on in the next a couple months. He's got to get focused on that for people to sort of cement that he'll become the leader. There's just lots of work to be done. These are typically, I'm going to say this is a 4-month reading. Sometimes I do 6-month readings. I'm not quite sure when they're going to call an election. I'll do another reading on that at a different time. But he's just going to be working. He might actually take a bit of a break too once he wins the leadership. But no rest for him. There's at the end here, they're going to be feeling pretty confident, and there's a big bow tie. That's a newer symbol for me, and it's just a great symbol to show it's sort of like that bow is tied on the present, so wrapping it up so it's this perfect little bow, and it feels like they're just going to feel like they've got everything wrapped up like a perfect bow. And there's a rose here too, so it feels like a springtime feeling here. That's where I'll leave this here, because I really just did want to talk about the debate and how the debate went, and what's happening with the Liberal leadership. We'll get into some other readings on the actual leader debate, who's going to be winning. Thank you very much for watching this video, if you've stuck with me till the end. And please let me know if you enjoy this content, and if you would like to see more. I'd love to hear from you if this is something of interest for Canadians. I know it really is for people in the United States and other countries as well, and there are lots of different YouTube videos out there, and they're really popular. So because I'm feeling called to do this, I feel like it's just sort of in the cards, no pun intended, that I'm going to be continuing with this. But it would be really nice just to hear some feedback from you if you feel like it's actually helpful. Okay, so thank you very much, and I hope to see you, or I will see you very soon. Thank you.